There's one thing which really bothered me with this game. How did the dragons get inside the buildings? They are so much bigger than the doors, it's like someone built around them. Maybe that's why the kingdom's being rescued by the Fall. The king's such a colossal idiot that he just allows dangerous fire-breathing lizards into his public office buildings, without so much of a hint of army protection. They can really do with just making a prequel, if just to quell the angry townfolk who have to take this lunacy from the betters. There's no way that I'll want to stay in this town afterwards, other than the low house prices of course. Black Lamp was a game that was very popular in my house growing up. My dad used to like playing it along with Into the Eagle's Nest and Chain. My brother was actually very good at it. I seem to remember him getting past level 9, but I wasn't really very good at this one, and I'll explain why later. The game was made by Firebird Software for the Amiga, Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, and this Atari ST version. The game sees Jack the Jester having fallen in love with the princess, but he's not actually allowed to marry her unless he performs some kind of noble and heroic act. Cue a bunch of dragons attacking the kingdom, which seems rather suspicious for my liking. They steal the magical black lamp, which somehow protects the kingdom, and of course this kingdom is soon overrun by monsters. So, being the only hero in the land, the Jester decides to set off to defeat the invading horde, recover the black lamp, and finally get to first base for royalty. The game itself is a 2D platformer where you control Jack as he essentially goes on a collect-a-thon throughout the kingdom. He has to search around the level looking for 9 different coloured lamps and return them to the lamp racks. Unfortunately, being a fool, he can only carry 1 lamp at a time, and 8 of the lamps are hidden randomly throughout the kingdom. So you're forced to memorise not only where you are in the stage, but also which colour lamps you have already picked up, as annoyingly there are duplicates scattered around the place. The final lamp, the black lamp, is protected by a dragon, who is also in a random location. Although the dragon is big, so it only fit in a few rooms in the game, so there is a slight clue there. But to get the lamp you have to kill said dragon, which is not an easy task, just like this game. Overall, I'm not sure how many levels there are, but level 2 is exactly the same as level 1, which in turn is exactly the same as level 3. But the game randomizes enemies and lamps each time you play through, so each playthrough is slightly different. You also start in a random location. I really do like the visuals in this game. Each of the rooms that you enter look different to the next one. So although you can get lost throughout the large level, at least you can easily know whether you've entered the same room again. Jack himself has a large amount of animation, and there's a large amount of variety in the various enemies that greet you on each screen, each having their own different attack patterns, with little flickering, and there is a little bit of slowdown, but it's nothing major. I do like it when developers actually put effort into their work, which seems to be the case here. It even has some smooth scrolling, which I'm really surprised about, as the majority of the game actually takes place on single screens. I mean, it would have been a lot easier for them to not bother at all, but no, they actually did a very good job here, in terms of presentation. Gameplay, however, I do have a slight problem with. If you play a game like Super Mario Bros. I'm sorry, I forgot, I'm talking about the ST here. Of course, Super Stereo Land. And if you play that game and tap right, your character will move a few pixels to the right, but nothing major. You hold the joystick down to the right if you want to go further. If you tap right in this game, however, Jack moves 1/11 of the screen to the right. It's like he's stuck on the grid, and you can only move in set increments. It's also the same with jumping, and you always jump 3 blocks to the right or left if you're running. You don't have any control over your direction. It's not terrible, it just takes some getting used to, and it's not ideal for this type of tricky platformer. Turning around is also awkward, as you'll need to do this to enter doors and climb ladders, but it can also leave you vulnerable, particularly as you'll take damage if you simply drop down to a lower platform from great height. This of course leads us on to the other big problem with this game. If I was to describe this title, I would probably use the term unrelenting. You constantly have to keep firing as enemies will attack you in under a second after entering a room. And, as soon as you kill one, another one appears on the screen. So the important theme here is to constantly keep moving and firing, and pick up the health power-ups whenever your life is low. It's generally very rare that you get more than a few seconds to collect your thoughts. In fact, the only time I can ever think of when it's quiet is after you kill the dragon. Overall, Black Lamp isn't a bad game. It's very challenging and the controls do take some getting used to. But overall, I would say it's actually an ST game that I would recommend. It's certainly playable and it is fun in small bursts. But nevertheless, let's get on with this. I'm not massively great at this game, but I'll give it a go and let's get on with playing the game.